could be all happy and stuff for the first month. And then when things start really, coming full circle and you're like, damn, when are we going to go back to work? I think we all push each other together.
Yeah, we've got a team of 8, and we have a meeting of the 5 people at the top every morning. And the whole purpose of that meeting was more or less to make sure that we actually had to get dressed in the morning and remember that there still is work to be done, even if it's doing it off site.
Right.
And it's a big challenge because there are absolutely mornings where at 9:30 I am not motivated to be out of bed doing anything, and all I want to do is throw the blanket over my head and call it a day. Just Netflix and cry a little bit.
Right. It is. It's crazy. That's the biggest thing. I feel like, especially in the tri-state area, we're so brainwashed on like the go, 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 go every day. I got to get up. I have new goals, new ideas, things to do, that once the rug gets pulled out from under us, it's like, what do I got to wake up early for? Like, why do I have to like motivate myself in the morning? Why do I have to run? Why do I have to work out? We're locked in the house. What do we, you know what I mean? It's hard, man. It is hard. I've been like that for the last 2 days. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. So, but the sun's out today, so I feel good.
Yeah, the sun being out, I tell you, it changes the mood. If we had to do this yesterday, I was probably down and a little sour. And before this, I took a walk around the block and just enjoyed getting a little vitamin D and enjoyed seeing what was going on. And just in case everybody's sitting there live and doesn't realize this, if you're in the tri-state area, the Blue Angels are doing their flyover starting at about 1:45 today, and they're taking off from the airport right around the block from my house. So at 1:45, I'll be outside probably with a million other of my friends, social distancing and watching the jets go overhead with my kids, because thank God the weather broke today.
Thank God. I love the sun. It can be below 0 outside, but as long as the sun's out, or it could be 200 degrees, as long as the sun's out, I'm good. I just need the sun. But I think this is a good time too. Listen, I always try to enlighten any bad situation. I hate negative thinkers, and no matter how bad something is, it eventually has to subside and start being good, whether it's gambling or whatever, anything bad. But I feel like right now is the time that, I don't know, I definitely needed to slow down and stop and smell the flowers. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are rekindling friendships through this time. I feel like they're rekindling their marriage, or maybe it's setting stone of getting rid of the marriage. I don't know. It's a little bit of both, maybe. But I feel like my team and I have come together like so much more stronger through this time, and being able to like really visualize on what is important and what we need to do, and like just understand life a little bit more. I think that's a big part of all this right now.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. And when it comes to that whole concept of slowing down and restock and kind of evaluate where you're heading, we're looking still in a period of uncertainty. We don't necessarily know when we're going to return, and when we return, exactly what that's going to mean. I mean, if you look at it and switch your hats for a moment and you go back to Frankie, the MMA fighter, when is that guy going to be in front of a crowd again? And how many people do you think would actually show up if we said arbitrarily 3 months from now?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely fighting the uncertainty. And I was on a Zoom call this past weekend with a bunch of industry people in the private party industry, and they were like, so a question came through, like, if people start coming back to weddings and they feel a little awkward on dancing, how do you go about it? And I go, we're just gonna have to adapt. Like, we're professionals in our industry. We need to figure out, we wedding, like something we say in our industry is we wedding every weekend. These people don't, right? So we have to break the ice every single weekend to a whole different group of people. So I feel like it's going to be the same thing. And for me, any way to break through to any kind of negative thing is laughter. So if you crack some jokes on it, have some fun with it, I mean, you can't dwell on this thing forever. It is a sad and crazy time, and there's people that have lost their lives. I have friends of mine that have lost family members, and it is sad, but I feel like we also can't dwell on this and be as scared as people are, you know? I mean, everybody, as long as you're doing the right thing, quarantining, washing your hands, wearing your mask and doing the right things and staying at home, that's the biggest thing. It's a lot like, you know, I don't know the percentage, but are going out still, riding bikes, and, you know, those are the ones that are ruining all this. So I feel like once we come back, it's still going to be a little weird and awkward, but even then we're going to have to adapt, you know?
They, after 9/11, it's a Lorne Michaels quote, I believe. And the question was, when was it acceptable to be funny again? And the response Lorne got was, why start being funny now? And
Right.
that's the old Saturday Night Live joke. But the reality here becomes, we need this balance, right? We need this lightness in order to get us through those really shitty days. There are days where all of us feel that way, but having music, having entertainment, having a way to outlet some of that stress so we can kind of remember what it was like to be human before this happened, you know, 7 weeks ago.
Right.
That was a different world, and figuring out how to forge your way out of this when we do get the all clear, when we do have socialization again, that's a really amazing challenge. And I'm psyched that your team's innovating and trying to figure it out and pushing that virtual way to do it, because that's where we're getting all these cool ideas now.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not hard either. You know, the stuff that we're doing isn't rocket science. We're just going for it. You know, I think that's the biggest thing is there's millions of people out there that come up with good ideas, but then it just hits the back burner and doesn't go, you know? Believe it or not, like after that showcase, we got more feedback from how good it was and how uplifting it was than, you know, we did on the wedding side of things. Like, yeah, no, we got some inquiries and stuff like that, but there was a few people that hit us up and was like, thank you so much. Like, it actually like got me excited to be part of something. It got me excited to like, you know, have my business being repped, or, you know, got me excited about planning my big day, because that was the whole first part of it was, you know, for all of we have a lot of postponed brides right now and uncertain brides that don't know if they should postpone, they should cancel, are they still going to get married, you know? So a lot of them hit us up and was like, I'm still excited on getting married. Like, if you're postponed right now, it's good, because the overwhelming process is over. Everything's booked. You're set in stone. You just have to show up to the date, say I do, and party. And right. I feel like it's a build up to your wedding. If you're newly engaged, it's even better, because all of us are sitting at home waiting for phone calls. So if you want to plan, you want to get numbers, and you probably find the best numbers right now, this is the time to do it. So just keeping that going. You know, I said it to a couple of my guys, you know, for the first time ever in my lifetime, and I'm sure a lot of people's lifetimes, the whole world is at a full standstill, and the whole world's on the same playing field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The entire world, whether you're homeless or whether you're the most famous person on earth, everybody's on the same playing field right now. So we just kind of help each other and come together, instead of, you know, having ignorant people out there still trying to party and whatnot. It's crazy.
When you talk about helping together, I know that this is one of your passion plays. You do a lot of things to help out in the community. And we were talking a couple of weeks ago, you had talked about doing donation classes through your Zumba outlet. Have you been doing that lately? And if so, where's the link that we can send people to help out?
Yeah, so I, on top of one-of-a-kind events, you know, I am part owner of Rise Conventions, which is a dance convention company. And I have a Zumba studio in Howell with a partner of mine named Gina Velasquez. It's called Ignite. So, you know, even over there, we've been running virtual classes since this happened. You know, we had, I don't even know, every week it's 3 classes, Tuesday, Thursday, and a song request Sunday. And so we've been doing virtual classes from there. And then with Rise, they've actually had free conventions all last week. And we're actually having a bunch of events coming up virtually with a bunch of our ambassadors. So just trying to keep that media going. And this month, we're going to have a donation class to where we bring food to, you know, our first responders. We pick a few hospitals, some police departments. And so last month we did it our first one, we went to Howell Police Department, Freehold Police Department. We went to Bayshore Hospital, Kimball Hospital, and Center State. And we also went to the Howell Fire Department. So trying to, help local businesses. We use Sorrentino's. That's one of our neighbors at the Zumba studio. So we try to use local businesses to support local people, you know what I mean? And it's a very tight-knit community in Howell and Freehold. And, even though I'm from Howell, but our business is in Freehold, right on Hudson Street. So, I mean, it's just a little something that we can go for, and it feels good. It feels good to help people.
I grew up in Howell, and for years, this is the first time we haven't been able to do it in a while. We donate meals as part of my Kiwanis Club. We donate meals to the Thanksgiving for homebound seniors, and also for Easter or Passover. And unfortunately, because of this and the food kitchens just not knowing exactly how to do these things yet, they postponed it this year. But it shows a critical gap where we've got all of these homebound seniors that kind of fell through the cracks for meals that they normally get. And that's where we've got this fall of the underrepresented, the homeless, and the food desert related people that are just at the cusp before this. They were relying on those school meals, which are thankfully still going, but it shines a light on one of those things that really did feel a disruption over the last 7 weeks. So I think it's really cool that you push through that. And my shout out to my friends on the Howell Police Force. The first responders and the Howell cops and the fire department donate their time when they distribute all of those meals. Last year, I think they were distributing 150 meals to homebound seniors during those events. So I appreciate it as a Howell alumni to say thanks for doing that yourself.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't myself either. I mean, it was, my partners, and we actually had some dollar donations. So what I did, I go live on Instagram and do a DJ set every week. And, the one I did was we came together and we did a song request, and every song request and every person that came on the live, I matched it with $2. So we doubled it. And some people actually hit me up and was like, I want to donate money. Like, I didn't make your live, but I want to donate money. And it's cool to see like the whole world come together. It's a nice thing. And it's something little. It's not just myself. It's my entire team. I really can't do it. Melissa Brown, who I have the Rise Talent Conventions with, and Gina, they all have a take in everything that we do together, and obviously the whole 1-0 family. So
that's really awesome. One other thing you had said, and I don't know if it's gone anywhere, so I don't mean to put you on the spot. You were working on making face shields last time we talked.
Yeah, so One of a Kind events is officially wide open in Miami as well. So we're open for business down there. Not that there is any business right now, but the company down there is a full, complete one-stop shop, and we have acrylic and vinyl machines and sewing machines. So we've been able to develop acrylic face shields that are 100% acrylic and are completely customizable. And we also have 100% polyester masks that are completely customizable as well. So we're just adapting to the times, and we've been able to donate a few to the hospitals, and we've had some orders in because, I feel like in due time, this is going to be the norm for a little while. So, and there's going to be a lot of companies out there that want their own branding, and everything that we do here at One of a Kind events is personalized and branded, whether it's physically or vocally, or musically. So that's something that we developed in Miami. So it's not coming from China. It's made here. It's not going anywhere else. They're delivered right to your house. So
I think the most important question that's on everybody's mind that's listening to this is, when the hell do you sleep?
I don't sleep much. I don't sleep much. And, my team will tell you, I mean, Jason will tell you, sometimes he gets emails at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I just, I'm a big procrastinator, believe it or not. And I'm a huge procrastinator. So when I get something in my head and I tell myself I need to get it done, I don't stop until I get it done. But it's just, I don't know, man. I drink a lot of coffee. I'm not a Knicks fan, Yeah, so I'm dealing with what I got to deal with. Today's finally the one day I get to get out of the house. Jason and I, one of my coworkers, we have to go do a site check because we have a bride that still wants to have her wedding in her backyard. So she wants tent rentals, she wants dance floor, she wants all that stuff. So it's gonna be nice to like show up to a house and they're excited to get married, So it's just crazy, my team slowly was trying to figure out how to bring birthday celebrations back, their parades and stuff. So we're working on something like that. But there's a little logistics. We don't want to get like any fines or anything from the towns or make anybody feel uncomfortable, because even though this is a time that we all need to come together, there's still people out there that feel like they're population control and like trying to, be the virtual police. And so there are some negative feedbacks that we do get for some of the stuff that we do, but it is what it is.
Well, it's a balance check, right? When you're doing a drive-by birthday, nobody can accuse you of assembling in a backyard. But if you all of a sudden become too popular with what you do and you draw a crowd, well, now you've drawn your friendly neighborhood police because you decided to have a Pink Floyd party in your backyard.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure it out. Maybe even creating a float. But something, I don't know how many people are on here or who's listening, but if you know anybody that's still getting married and still wants to get married on their date, and obviously it got postponed, we're able to do that virtually with no issues, keeping our social distancing and being able to be on site and run a live stream to either your Facebook or our private YouTube and have all your family and friends watch you get married at your home. I'm ordained, but a lot of times they get their family members ordained. You can get them $50 online, and people are still being able to get married at home on their date. So we figured that out.
That's another cool piece of the puzzle. I'm also ordained, so let me know if you need me to come by for a ceremony with you.
Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah.
It's absolutely awesome.
What have you and your team been, coming up with, or ideas, or how are you keeping the camaraderie going?
We're drinking a lot.
All right.
Now, honestly, what we're doing for our team is that we're working through the problems like this. For us, we're fortunate that bankruptcy court's still open. Everything went to a video and a phone format. So those hearings have still been going on for the last 7 weeks. Real estate's still closing. People are still buying houses. People are getting new listings right now. So it's really about comfort, using common sense, making sure you're putting it together in the right way so that you're not making people nervous. You're not spreading the disease further, or at least we hope not. And we're still conducting business because business still has to live. And I'm totally super sympathetic to everybody out there that's really stuck at home, freaking out, wondering if they're going to get their next check, wondering if the relief checks are going to come in. But you have to, in my mind, plan for what's going to happen once we get out of this and be ready to sprint, which is why my entire team is still working. Everybody went home, but everybody's phone still rings from the office to their cells. All of their computers are hooked up at home to the central computer, and we communicate constantly just to keep this thing flowing, because I never want to be caught flat-footed when people really need the help and need the guidance. One of the first things that we started doing was jumping on this format. We didn't do this beforehand. I never had a podcast. I never did a live call. And all of a sudden, a month ago, I was on a call with 150 attorneys, and I found myself being a panelist talking about how we start adapting solo practices to living on a virtual platform. And we knew we were on to something that needed to be talked about. And the reality is, I don't care if I talk about business here. I don't need to talk about Veitengruber Law. I need to talk about what are people feeling now? How are you getting through it? Because if you're not talking to people about it and you're not processing it in your head, that's when you go into the dark places. That's when it's the constant cloudy day and you can't get your ass out of bed. I don't have time for that. I've got a wife. I've got 2 kids. I need to pay my bills just like everybody else. So I'm going to figure out how to innovate and hustle. And I'm thrilled that I have such an awesome team that is along for the ride with that. And they're bringing their own ideas into the fold, because I can't figure this shit out alone either.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's a a great way to put it. You know, you can't figure it out. One, you know, more brains are always better than one, you know, and a lot of times when you try to develop something, or, you know, you kind of need insight on what other people see, what you don't, you know, so that's cool. That's cool. I like hearing that.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
So what's your parting thoughts? What do you got?
Oh man, my parting thought, it's a different thought every day. You know, it's a different thought every day. I try to jump on my treadmill every day. I do my best thinking on my treadmill or in the shower, which I'm sure most people. You know, every day is a new development. We've officially locked up that we're going to be having showcases every 2 weeks.
Awesome.
We locked up that contract yesterday. And so we'll be doing that, you know, and that's going to keep us busy and hopefully busy throughout this. I think the biggest thing for not just us as a company, and like, you know, we're in the entertainment production and event planning company, a business, but for other people out there, I think they, like you said, you know, it's starting to think, you know, when this is over, you know, and being already your feet in motion to where you're already ready to sprint once they say go, is the biggest thing. So we're slowly kind of figuring out plans and ideas to keep that will work even when all this goes back to normal. And the virtual world isn't going anywhere. So still being able to have these showcases where people have no excuse not to log in, right from their couch. We do it later in the night. So put the kids to bed, pour yourself a glass of wine, grab your fiance or the dog or whatever, you're in comfy clothes, and watch our show. Our show is fun. It's entertaining. We keep you engaged. The first one went for 2 hours, and I didn't even know it was 2 hours until it was over. But it's a lot of information, and we're slowly developing something to spin off that and have like a 30 to 45 minute show, weekly show, talking about industry people and trying to like just give more details on a personal level than like an industry level. So yeah, I mean, it's just coming up with shit, man. Just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. You know what I mean?
I love that, because, you know, it doesn't matter. The things that suck along the way, we won't remember those, but we will absolutely remember all of the cool virtual things that come out of this, and all of the way that we've connected with people through this broader virtual world until we can get back to the one we were used to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's also like thinking out of the box for each person. Like, listen, I live on a piece of property, and I'm always doing projects around here and within the company. But there are people out there that, you know, have an apartment, don't have a lot of things going on, and are like kind of like subjected to like their couch and their, you know, their Facebook and Instagram and watching Netflix. But now I think it's a time to like come up with a cool hobby, you know, like even on the side, like I'll come up with a hobby. I'm still trying to learn piano. So I try to learn piano. I do like 30 minutes, 40 minutes every day. I think this is a time for other people to start developing new, whether you want to cook or play an instrument or read or something. Like, do it now. Just do it. Try it. Whatever. You know, you're not losing anything. So this is the best time to try it.
I'm glad that you have time to pick up a hobby after having 7 other jobs going at the same time. So now you're down to sleeping 20 seconds a day. I see.
But that's what it is, man. It's every day is a new adventure. So that's the thing too, is figuring out how to monetize, like do everything in moderation. You know, I don't put my head in my business every day. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't. I come up with ideas every day, but one day I'll be a DJ. Then the next day I'll be I come up with something for One Oak or something. One day I'll come up with something for Rise. And, you know, I kind of bounce around, and that's not saying anybody can do the same, you know, with just other things. So I think the biggest thing right now is just staying positive and listening to the rules and just keep moving. You know,
I think that's the best way to be with it, and it's fighting through and punching through those times when you're not feeling it, knowing that on the other side of this, there's a better day coming, and you get to choose every day. It's an adventure or an ordeal, and some days you're going to let yourself sit in that muck, but other days you better climb out of it and enjoy it. And today's one of those great days. I hope everybody goes out and enjoys the weather that we've got here in New Jersey and New York, because we haven't had enough of these really nice days. I guarantee it'll turn your head around if you just go spend 15 minutes outside today.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a great way to put it, man. Like, listen, it's okay to like fall in a funk. You know, it's okay. Like, we're all people, we're all humans. It's okay to fall in that funk, whether it's a day, an hour, a week, but just make sure you climb out of that funk. You know what I mean? It's okay to be in it and seclude yourself from society or whatnot, but just climb out of it. You know, I feel like, listen, everything's pretty like okay right now. There hasn't been real like chaos, but I feel like once the weather breaks and the sun's out and, you know,
Yeah, me too.
that's when things are gonna, I feel like, hit a little haywire. That's just me. But hopefully it May brings lots of sun and breaks all this quarantine stuff.
I worry about, I'm glad the beaches are closed, which is controversial as a Jersey Shore kid, but I think by closing the beaches in April, when the weather was not on our side, conditioned us and kind of made it so that when the weather is amazing, people have already had time to process that the beaches shouldn't be open yet. And that might change. I mean, unfortunately, with right now, the uncertainty is we don't know when that's going to change. I'm not optimistic that we're going to have a Memorial Day, but I am optimistic that we're eventually going to have some version of a summer. So it's that, don't be a knucklehead, stay within the rules for now so we can all process and get closer to that summer together. Because the more outliers we have, the more things that go wrong because people broke those rules, the longer it's going to perpetuate all of us being trapped inside.
Yeah, man, that's the biggest thing is like we gotta have to do this together. We have to do this together, and that's as cliche as that sounds, it is. And the people, this is one thing that annoys me. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But these people that wear masks and gloves to the supermarkets, which is mandatory now, I get it. But why do they like throw it on the floor in the parking lots? I don't get that. Like,
No clue.
What is the point of garbage? Like, just because you wore it in the store doesn't mean you can't throw it out. Like, it's not. I just don't get that. So there's a lot of other things that are underlying here. I feel like too, like once everything goes back, we have to go back slowly, right? In order for this thing not to have a second, you know, pandemic. So like even when schools go back, you know, I feel like every week they should just let another grade in, like let kindergarten in, let them sit in there for a week, make sure everything's cool, there's no issues. And then first grade and second grade, you know, slowly. Like with my business, I mean, I don't know when we're going to go back. And the problem is when we do go back, is it going to be consolidated to 50 people, 80 people, 100 people, you know, and like, how awkward is it going to be when you have a venue that fits 350 people, but you're only allowed to have 50? Yeah. And it's like, man, but these are the steps that we're going to have to take in order for this to be over at the end of the day. So, I mean, I'm ready for it. It is what it is. I know there's a lot. The longer we wait, the worse it's going to be for everybody. And then it's going to be a pandemic, but chaos. You know, there's going to be rioting. It's going to be nuts. So I don't know, man. I don't watch the news, so I stay away from all that stuff. I'll be honest. Yeah, you know, I don't like to watch the news. There's nothing positive or negative on there. It's just I mean, there's nothing positive. It's always negative. So I don't watch the news. I just live every day and just figure it out.
I think that's a good other point. I get most of my news from comedy shows, and that's not necessarily the best way to skew it either, but at least it keeps it a little light as I digest another day of things being crazy. If people want to follow you, I know you're at Frankie and the 4Fs for your podcast, and that goes on for quite a bit. And guys, you can check out Frankie at One of a Kind events on Facebook, and you absolutely should check the YouTube link that's out there for the showcase he put out a week ago. Being able to create something like that on a YouTube platform and collaborate with people, even if you couldn't be in the same room, it's awesome. And that's the kind of innovation we're hoping to see come out of this mess.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't just think that's just for the private party industry. So any other companies out there that want to do something virtually with their business, we're able to produce it and make sure everything is done right. Everything's confirmed on a scale. So whether you have a plumbing business or construction business, a law firm, we can do all that virtually and have your eyes on it or have you come to the studio. But when we do it, there's only 3 people in the studio room. So, but yeah, we can do that for any business.
That's awesome. Hey, everybody, go outside. Enjoy the Blue Angels. They're going to be flying by in the next 10 to 20 minutes. Frankie, thanks for joining me, man. I really appreciate seeing you today.
No, I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate the time. But everybody stay positive out there.
Stay safe, guys.
Take care.